In my 30 years as a caregiver, I've learned that each of us, no matter what our circumstances, are dealing with what I call the 3 I's. What are the 3 I's? Well, it's isolation, loss of independence, and loss of identity. We just can't do the things we used to be. We lose our independence. We can't just jump up and go somewhere. We're landlocked. We become isolated, not just physically, but we become isolated in our own thoughts. Sometimes I've found that caregivers can feel isolated in a crowded room. And even when we're in church, we feel isolated. We feel like, well, we're the only ones having to deal with this thing, and God obviously is just not doing something in our situation like He is in everybody else's, it seems like. Those are things that we can push back as a caregiver by reaching out to community and having community reach out to us. One of the things I'm on a mission to is to help the church know what it's like to help a caregiver. But in order for that to happen, the loss of identity has to be addressed first. See, we caregivers lose ourselves in someone else's story. I can't tell you how many people have asked me about my wife over the years, but I can tell you the ones that have asked about me. It's too easy to be blended in with the background when you're a caregiver. And so we have to reclaim that. Now, how do you know if you're dealing with the loss of identity? Well, if somebody asks a caregiver, how are you doing? And they say, well, she just got home from the hospital, or he's having a bad day, or our situation is such. They have a hard time speaking in first person singular. So when you ask a caregiver, how are you doing? Help them answer from their own heart. Use that I word. That's when the tears will come, so be gentle with them. That's when the stammering comes, so be patient with them. But learning how to help that caregiver find his or her own voice is the first steps towards pushing back against the isolation, the loss of identity, and all of those things, the loss of independence. They can start reclaiming their own identity in this thing, and that is a great sign of a healthy caregiver, because healthy caregivers make better caregivers.